2024 is officially an insane year for VR. We have news about the release of multiple VR headsets and new companies entering the space. The interest in VR is growing from month to month, and above all this, Meta made the best decision they had in a long while, which will accelerate the progress of the industry by a couple of years. We will cover all of this and more in this episode of VR News. Let's start with some good news for PCVR users. If you have been in the VR bubble for a while, there is no way you haven't heard the claims about how PCVR is dying, and only the standalone headset will live in the future. But if we take a closer look at the results from the Steam hardware survey, the reality seems to tell another story. If we exclude the Chinese users, towards which the most popular VR headsets and games are not sold officially, we can see an ascending trend from 2020 until the present. In my opinion, PCVR will stay alive as long as the standalone headsets don't find a way to become more powerful than an actual PC. There will always be people who desire better graphics and performance, no matter how much more convenient a standalone headset seems to be. And most likely the release of the Quest 3S this year will also bring a new wave of PCVR users. I'm not the only one being optimistic about the progress of PCVR. Pimax is of the same opinion and decided to launch two new wired PCVR headsets, the Crystal Lite for $700 and Crystal Super for $1,800. At the same time, they released a $300 wireless adapter for the original Crystal, which will transform it into a wireless PCVR headset. For this not so modest price, the device will allow higher bandwidth and less compression than regular Wi-Fi streaming, like the one used by Quest devices. Sadly, this adapter can be used on the two new headsets. As for what they have to offer, the Crystal Lite has the same 2880 by 2880 resolution QD-LCD displays as the original Crystal, but lacks eye tracking. It will come in two models. The base one at $700, which lacks mini LED local dimming, and the second model, which will include it at a higher price of $900. The Crystal Super will also come in two models. Both have 4K displays, but on the 1800 model, these displays will be QD-LCD, while on the 2000 model, they will be micro OLED. Unlike Crystal Lite, Crystal Super retains the eye tracking from the original Crystal, which enables eye tracking for foveated rendering. If you are interested, Pimax announced the shipping of the Crystal Lite starting this month, and for the Crystal Super, it will come sometime until the end of the year. As I stated before, Meta didn't stay quiet this last month either. Firstly, at the beginning of April, they rolled out the V64 update, which brought to the Quest 3 a huge improvement in pass-through quality, external mic support, and the lying down mode. We can see from this example how the pass-through has become darker, but at the same time you can see more clearly what is presented on physical screens like monitors and phones. The graininess has also been slightly reduced. The external mic support is pretty straightforward, allowing you to use an external microphone on Quest 3 via the USB-C port. As for the lying down mode, this was a feature released on the previous V63 update for the Quest 2 and Pro, but it couldn't be released on the Quest 3 because of some conflict with the automatic boundary setup. But this was only the beginning. Later in the month, Meta rebranded the operation system used by the Quest headset, giving it the new name Meta Horizon OS, and made it available to selected third-party headset makers. They'll have access to the same core software and platform services as Meta Quest headset, including Meta's tracking, mixed reality technology, and the App Store. We already have two third-party companies that have publicly announced that they are working on creating new headsets running Meta Horizon OS. The first one is Asus, which announced a performance gaming headset under its Republic of Gamers brand, followed by Lenovo, which plans to release a productivity, learning, and entertainment specialized device. Most likely, we will see more companies entering the VR space now that they don't have to worry about creating a device which even if it's good, will not appeal to a lot of people because of the lack of available apps. Together with the announcement, Meta also changed the name of the Quest Store, rebranding it as the Horizon Store. The plans for the future are to make the store much more open and bring the AppLab apps to the main store. This decision was made in order to give talented independent developers a better chance to showcase their app. The process will have two phases. In the first one, we will see an AppLab tab added to the store interface, as we can see here. This will let Quest owners browse and find AppLab apps easily instead of needing a URL or exact search term. The second phase will come further in the future and imply AppLab's disintegration and the merging of apps into one unified store, which will adopt AppLab's more open requirements. Let's hope that because of these changes, we will see more amazing apps and games emerging in the new Horizon store. For the ones who are also Xbox fans, the announcement that Meta will make a limited edition Quest headset in partnership with Microsoft Xbox might look like the most exciting news of the month. According to Mark Zuckerberg, it will include an Xbox controller in the box, so you can play Xbox Cloud gaming with no additional hardware. Judging from the image, this headset will be a version of the Quest 3 coming in black, which will give it a pretty cool look in my opinion. We don't have further information at the moment, so we can only wait to find out more about this product. Usually, at this point, I will speak about the game that impressed me the most last month, but we had so many exciting announcements that I wasn't able to choose, so brace yourself as I speak about a couple of games. Firstly, we have the king of the VR Battle Royale shooters that finally launched. Obviously, I'm talking about Contractor Showdown, which became the top seller in the Meta store. Supporting 60-player matches and maps of 16 square kilometers on a standalone device, this game should be tried by everyone. I can't express in words how good it feels to play this game, even for a non-Battle Royale fan like me. Right now, you can buy it on the Quest and Steam platforms for the price of $19.99. Next, I want to speak about the Shadowhunter update of the Light Brigade. This new archer class feels amazing, but in my opinion, no matter how good your aiming is, with the current drop rate of arrows, which was usually made for weapon magazines, you will remain without arrows at some point in your gameplay. The fact that you can pick up old arrows doesn't help much because they can easily fall outside of the map or disappear together with the enemies. Lastly, but definitely the most exciting gaming news, is the announcement of two big franchises entering VR, Alien Rogue Incursion and Batman Arkham Shadow. The first one is supposed to come this holiday season for Meta Quest 3, PSVR 2 and PCVR. Yes, you hear it right. This is the biggest title yet listed to support the Quest 3, but not Quest 2 and Quest Pro. The second game will be a Meta Quest 3 exclusive, which is supposed to come until the end of the year. If this alone doesn't excite you, maybe the fact that the developers working on this game are the ones who made the Iron Man VR might do the job. In my opinion, this is the first proper Quest 3 exclusive that will make use of the headset capabilities, and the fact that it's being made by developers who know how to surprise the feeling of being a hero only makes it better. If Meta didn't restrain them on the budget, I dare to say this will be an experience which will set a new standard similar with the case of Asgard's Wrath 2. Nevertheless, this is an amazing year for VR gamers. Despite my excitement reaching its peak, there is one more topic we must discuss. Apple already has a date set up for the release of the successor of the Apple Vision Pro. The Vision Pro 2 is set for launch in late 2026, and until then, Apple is struggling to make a cheaper headset first, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. The problem is that bringing down the cost while still maintaining the quality standard we all expect from Apple is easier said than done. According to the supply chain analyst Ming-Chin Kuo, Apple was working on a cheaper headset a full year before Vision Pro was even revealed, and its launch supposedly was planned for the 2025. The largest cost by far in Vision Pro is its near 4K micro OLED displays from Sony. So the real path to a much cheaper vision headset relies on the price of high-resolution micro-OLED displays falling over time. But there has also been news about Apple testing micro-OLED microdisplays from 2 additional suppliers, both from China. If the samples meet Apple standards, displays from these companies could be used in both Vision Pro 2 and the cheaper headset. It remains to be seen if one of them proves to be the solution of Apple's problems. This is all for the last month news. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing for more VR content. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.